What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So we clearly see what's going on. This is an update. Now, I waited for a little while just to see how everything was going to unfold. So this is where we at here. Finally, we got the cop side of the video. We've all seen the video of what was recorded at first and things like that. And now we see the cam footage from the actual officers here. So we're going to dive off into this. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
With the very latest on what's happening there. Garrett, good afternoon.
Yeah, Trace, good afternoon. This new video will be a crucial piece of evidence in this investigation because it was recorded by the agent himself, and it shows the events leading up to the shooting from his point of view. Here is that entire video.
Okay, so where we at out here?
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Oh!
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to this new video on X, saying, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered, and he fired in self-defense. No response to the new video from city officials, but earlier today, Mayor Jacob Fry doubled down on his belief that this was a reckless abuse of power.
And this is where we get here. So the Jacob Fry guy is the new mayor of that area. Minneapolis, and yes, he has a huge hard on for hating Trump. Like, he has a huge problem. He's right up there with Tim. So this is where we at here. We've seen the footage at first and things like that. Now we're seeing the actual footage from the officer side from standing there, and I've heard all types of crazy things. Why the officer didn't move out the way and this and that. Listen, look, when police walk up to your vehicle and they tell you to get out of the vehicle, first of all, it's certain steps, put your car in park. When that time if they pulling you over, you put your car in park, cut your car off. That's the next step. Make sure you keep your hands on the steering wheel, things like that. But in this case right here, this is not what actually went down. So this lady, the car was already in motion, things like that. They told her to pretty much, open the door, stop, things like that. That's them detaining you at that moment. Whether we like these facts or not, that's the police detaining you at that moment. You're being detained, and there's no way around it. Let's keep going here. So let's see what Jacob Fry is talking about here.
ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
A blunt message to ICE from Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry after authorities say federal immigration agents shot and killed a woman during what they say were targeted operations. Very disturbing video posted on X causing public outrage shows agents approaching this red SUV as it was blocking the road. You can hear the agents tell the woman to get out of the car and approach the SUV. The woman then drives forward. That's when the shots are fired, the car crashing.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
So she backs up. Hold on. First of all, once the officer is proceeding to walk up to your car like this, you're not supposed to move or touch anything. So she backs up. She backs up.
Then drives forward. That's when the shots are
right there. Hold on. She clipped the fuck out that dude. That's crazy, bro.
Fired, the car crashing.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
The Department of Homeland Security is saying the 37-year-old who was killed was blocking the roadway and, quote, weaponized her vehicle. as officers were trying to get their car out of the snow.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them.
Local police saying this.
A federal law enforcement officer approached her on foot and the vehicle began to drive off. At least 2 shots were fired.
So that's all he's saying. He keeping it very simple. Listen, look, he keeping it simple, but it's stupid. A federal officer approaches a vehicle. They're clearly telling her to stop, basically. And she keeps going. Do you hear what this officer just said? Now, if this was me, do you think this officer right here that we clearly see right here, if he pulled me over or basically detained me while I'm in my vehicle in the middle of the street, do you think that I would be arrested? Man, come on now. Man, stop.
Were fired.
Federal authorities arguing the ICE officer feared for his life and fired defensive shots. Video shows protesters clashing with law enforcement, throwing snowballs at vehicles, tear gas deployed into the crowd.
We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
The Trump administration says 2,000 agents had recently been deployed to Minneapolis. As we just heard, the mayor now demanding they leave the city, saying they are only causing chaos.
Man, screw that. You know, them people out there doing the job. All you got to do is just leave people alone. Leave law for. My question is, hold on here. My question really is, man, like, what are these people doing every day? Of course, you know what I'm saying? This woman had children, stuff like that. You know, you saw her lover, things, you know, and that's not the issue. I'm saying, though, the issue with me is, why aren't these people at jobs somewhere helping the rest of us Americans pay these damn taxes that we're also being screwed out of in Minnesota as well? This makes no sense now. This makes no sense. And logical people are going to understand this because it's just the truth. At the same time, too, this protest and all this stuff? Why aren't these people at work? How are they paying bills? Man, come on, bro. We got to stop this. This is ridiculous right here. So we're going to keep going. And guess what? Yeah, we got Scott Jennings in the broadcast room. Of course, this is CNN. We all know Scott been carrying them anchors on CNN through the ringer for quite some time now, since before the election. Let's do this now. See what he has to say about this particular situation in Minneapolis.
The political fighting and disagreements aside, it's terrible. You know, you don't want people to die in law enforcement situations or otherwise. But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up in vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities? This is not an isolated incident. We have had hundreds of car rammings against ICE agents all over the country. According to DHS, this lady in this car today, along with other vehicles, had been tracking ICE agents around. Why are people believing that they can drive their car into a federal law enforcement situation and that is an appropriate thing to do? I understand they don't like the fact that these agents are enforcing existing immigration law, but that's not how we change laws in this country. If you don't like a law, you talk to the politicians. You don't drive your car into the middle of a building or a law enforcement situation that's being occupied by the people who are simply there to enforce the law. If I don't like how much the IRS is charging me in taxes, I don't drive my car into the Treasury Department, try to run somebody over. I call my congressman. Political vigilantism is being encouraged by Democratic officials like the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who earlier this year told people to, quote, put your bodies on the line, and Tim Walz calling these guys Gestapo all year. What do you think happens when you radicalize a base of people about this?
It does strike me.
Right. Makes perfect sense. You know, when the ideologies, the fake news and all this type of stuff, the craziness. And this is where we at here. We got people actually out here interfering with police activity. Listen, look, man, I would never do no crazy shit like that. And I see a crime scene or something like that, I'm trying to go the other way. You know, I see blue lights, period, I'm going the other way. And I really don't technically have no reason to go the other way. I ain't got no warrants. I ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm living good and free out here in America. I ain't got nobody hunting me down for no warrants, trying to put me in jail. I don't have none of that shit going on. But I still go the other way because it ain't my business, first off. And then second of all, you know what I'm saying? Why would I actually go to where clearly there are warning signs of danger? Why would I go that way? That makes no logical sense to me. I would never do such things. This is crazy out here, people. This is crazy. So we're going to keep going. We're going to hear from some of the people and see what they have to say about this craziness that's going on here.
Showing that the lady that drove into the ICE agent actually did drive into him. Could he have moved out of the way? Yeah, he could have probably, but her partner was saying, drive, baby, drive. So, I mean, it was just a really quick,
I did hear that too. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I did hear that too. Hold on. We're going to go back at the end and I'm going to show you guys.
Response, she's in there, she's driving, and she drove off and he was in the way, and so he shot her. And that is the result of her being involved in something that had not to do with her.
I'm tired of people thinking that, the officer was supposed to move out the way. That's not how it works. If you are in a situation to where first of all, you're blocking the street, then the officers surround your vehicle to stop you from moving. You're not supposed to run over the officers. That's a serious offense. Like, I'm trying to figure out the thought process of some of the people that I'm living on this planet with here. We have laws in this nation, and those laws put things in place. Now, yeah, of course, if you want to change things, then you need to talk to your local people that you elected to get shit changed. But I don't think you're going to be able to change the fact that if a legal police, local police, federal, whatever, if police detain you or pull you over, technically you're detained at that moment once they pull you over. When they pull you over, whether they walk up to your car or or they pull you over in traffic, whatever, you're being detained at that moment. There's no way around that. And man, God, I just can't understand. I can't understand. Like, it's really just that simple. It's really just that simple.
Nothing to do with her American people, her partner, nobody, her family. And they keep showing a picture of her pregnant. And they do that a lot of times when someone does something wrong. They love to go to the picture where they are holding roses or frolicking with animals or something. They always show some peaceful photo as if she was a mom, as if she was pregnant. She wasn't pregnant. So why did y'all get that picture? That's number one. Number two, okay, we get that she was a mother, but she was a foolish woman. You put your life on the line for what? All for what? And you gone. And you're shocked that you're gone. And I would say, Lord, have mercy on her soul. And that's a whole nother topic. But, when it comes down to the spiritual things, I always think about, dang, this person just died. I wonder where they went. And all for what? So quickly, just because you wouldn't obey orders. You're interfering with ICE. You're interfering with law enforcement doing their job. Okay? They're doing their job, enforcing the laws of the United States. What the heck are you doing out there?
Right. Clearly, that's the issue. But nobody wants to accept that fact. Let's just go here now. Nobody wants to accept that fact that that's the truth. They want to be in a delusional situation that this lady was out here technically following these officers. And there's been other incidents that I've seen, that come across my timeline that I've seen recently here. Something just went down in Portland. I'm going to report on that soon. But listen, look, man, it's wild out here. It is wild out here. You don't go and block traffic and block officers and stuff like that from doing whatever they need to do by federal regulations and rules. Man, and I'm surprised that we are at this point in America to where we have to actually reteach people the laws of the land. This is crazy out here.
You should have been home with your children or with your partner or whatever the case, whatever lifestyle you live. Now you're paying the ultimate price, just like Pharaoh and his army, just like a companion of a fool. Okay. You follow these people, you're going to fall in the same ditch they just fell in. You just saw them fall in the ditch. Here y'all out here protesting again, looking crazy. And for what? You're not going to make a difference. You're trying to stop them from enforcing the law. It literally makes no sense for you to be outside doing anything. It's not like they're out there. I don't even know what else they could be doing that you would want to protest against, but not this. Take your L and go home to your family.
Right. And that's where we at right here. Listen, look, and also too, one thing I'm getting tired of hearing is that, you know, because I'm hearing this a lot on the internet, cross my timeline, all this type of stuff. Like everybody keeps saying, like, why wasn't these people at home? Why didn't they go home? Why didn't they stay home and this and that? My thing of this is, why aren't these people at work? Why aren't these people at work being productive citizens in society? You know what I'm saying? Adding on to these crazy ass taxes. Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous here. That's been in place for quite some time now. For quite some time. It's man, stop it, bro. Stop it. Why aren't these people at work? All these people sitting out here protest. I mean, I don't understand. Are they getting paid to protest something? Well, pay me then. You know, what you gonna pay me? $3,000-$4,000 a day? I'll get out there and protest if you paying $3,000 a day. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm just you paying $3,000 a day. I get out there and protest some shit. Sure will. But you know what I'm saying? These people we're probably out there getting pennies on the dollar, doing all this dangerous shit. Let's keep going.
An age where ICE agents can shoot people for no reason and murder them and then claim self-defense. What happened in Minneapolis is a travesty, okay? There should be no reason why ICE agents have this much freedom to do whatever they think they want to do. And what upsets me is that a lot of people voted for this. A lot of people voted for this, and it upsets me because it is very, very sad, but it's not surprising. And some people are surprised by these things, but this, again, is what he told y'all he was going to do and stand for. And because of him,
that is not what that is not true. Jesus Christ. I'm so tired of everybody taking certain things and twisting people's words and all this other type of stuff, you know, and that's very dangerous. You know, whether it be news or whatever, even in your personal life, when people take your words and stuff like that and they change them around, or they, you know, put their own semi thought process in on what you just said, instead of just repeating what you actually said. Man, come on now.
telling y'all what he was going to do. Y'all didn't believe him. He got in office. He running rampant. He running wild.
Okay.
Now look at the results of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent person. Now their life is lost over foolishness, silliness.
And that's their problem. That's their problem. Shouldn't have been there.
I think. And then what also upsets me is that he gets online. Y'all's president, Mr. Orange, gets online and he starts defending the ICE agents. Are you serious? I've never seen a president do that before. Every other president I've seen, when things like this have happened, but when things have happened like this, they get online and they say, it saddens me with a line. They say, my heart is so saddened by this situation. That should have not happened. There should be an investigation, yada, yada, yada. He just gets online and starts defending the ICE agents. This is what y'all voted for. This is what a lot of y'all voted for. Sad. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that this situation isn't, you know, sad and things like that. Don't get me wrong. You know, anybody losing their life at any point is definitely a tragedy. And at the same time, though, too, we've had plenty of innocent people in society lose their lives over foolishness and nothing, to do with them as well. But in this particular situation here, we have people that have sat there and, basically try to conduct themselves and put themselves in places that they ought not need to be in. Should have been at work somewhere, making some money, feeding your family. We got to stop the foolishness here, people. And we got to get logical with this. We got to get logical. Let's go here now.
Disputed fact. The 37-year-old Minnesotan Renee Good was obstructing law enforcement and interfering with ICE agents while they were trying to perform their official duties. That's illegal. Then she defied a lawful order by an officer. That's also illegal. Then she decided to operate her car with reckless disregard for the safety of the officers around her. That's also illegal. And despite what the radical left is trying to say, she hit him with her car. The media didn't show you this one, did they? Now, to say that officer is a murderer is a blatant lie. And to say that she was 100% trying to hit that officer is also a lie. We don't know her intent, but what will be put into question, and the only thing that matters, is how that officer felt in the moment, who just months ago was dragged behind a vehicle driven by an illegal immigrant who was fleeing a traffic stop, after which the officer had injuries to his legs and had to get 30 stitches. Plus,
now I'm going to speak on this real quick, this fleeing situation. It is very much real. You're not supposed to try to flee police officers, any law enforcement. That's not only a charge, that is a very dangerous thing to do. In the heat of the battle, in them streets, they don't know what you got going on. They don't know who you really are. They don't know what weapons you have. They don't know things, the tangible things and stuff like that. And you can't just sit there and make yourself seem like you're ready for battle, because you will get into battle.
Note here that there have been more than 100 vehicular ramming incidents targeting ICE agents in the last year. The National Review makes a great point. Undoubtedly, if it is reasonable to interpret the woman's action as a deliberate attempt to hit an ICE agent with a speeding vehicle, the use of force was justified. But even if the woman was mainly trying to get away, she was engaged in an actionable assault on a federal officer, a felony under Section 111 of the Federal Penal Code. To constitute an assault, there does not have to be battery, which is unlawful contact. But in this instance, if the assault or intimidation was carried out with a deadly or dangerous weapon, like a car, the penalty is up to 20 years jail time. That's a big time federal offense. So even if you think she was just trying to get away, she did so by swiping the car in the agent's direction. She might not have intended to hit him, but she sure did not appear to be trying to avoid running him over, if that was necessary.
Intending or avoiding, it doesn't matter. When officers walk up to your car, you are immediately detained. I don't see how this is going any other way. I don't see how this is going any other way. And other than that, if it does go any other way, then you are evading police officers and also evading arrest. You're instantly detained once they pull you over, or they, walk up to you, stuff like that. Sorry, but this is just the truth. Now, of course, I get it. You sit there, maybe somebody hadn't really done anything. And, but it just is what it is. This is how it's going down.
To escape. Either way, the agent's life was jeopardized and the responsive use of force would be justified. The Fourth Amendment says a police officer may use deadly force against a fleeing suspect if he has a good faith belief that the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others. It looks to every sane person in America that the driver was in the act of committing a dangerous assault when the agent opened fire. The driver's reckless operation of the vehicle, coupled with the fact that she was showing little care of harming armed law enforcement agents as they were carrying out their official duties, supports that it was reasonable to believe she posed a serious threat to the agents and others. Legality aside, federal agents are there to carry out a deportation operation, taking illegal criminals out of our country. That's exactly what the president was reelected to do. ICE is there to do a job. Irrationally putting yourself in harm's way while obstructing an enforcement operation is one of the dumbest things you could do. No matter how you think you feel about this situation that I pray no one else will ever have to be in, no law enforcement officer is under an obligation to potentially let himself be run over by a vehicle, period. And last note, the leaders in Minnesota are some of the most pathetic people I've ever seen. His job is to enforce the law. Obstructing the law is what causes distress and chaos. People are loud.
Yeah.
Things are going to get ugly. Know your facts.
Yo, this is where we at, people. What she said, know your facts. So, okay. I told y'all we're going to go back a little bit because I want y'all to hear what that lady did say to her girlfriend. What she did say to her girlfriend. Hold on. So let's go here now.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us?
Oh.
I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Oh!
Hold on.
Get out of the car.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard it, right? Y'all heard it?
Out of the car.
Drive. Now, her significant other told her to drive. Man, y'all heard it. Don't act like you didn't. But this is where we at, people. This whole situation is wild. It was no need for all this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna go out my way to go anywhere where police are doing any damn thing. That's not my business. That's not my place in life. You know, and people want to sit here and try to justify people doing foolish things and then want sympathy on the back end. This is, man, when I know better, I'm not finna do nothing crazy like this with no police officers. This is ridiculous. The federal, the local, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know, you're not supposed to do this either way it go. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.